I'm really
How are
happy to
you?
be here. I'm good, and hello to everyone, and assalamu alaikum to all.
Awesome. So, Tabay, why don't we start by you telling me a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I have recently moved to Australia from Pakistan, and now I'm settling in. Um, I have a I'm from the marketing and advertising profession, and I'm currently working with hotel apartments here in capacity of marketing and sales. And I've got a small family here now, settling in Australia, Melbourne. So that's a bit about me.
Awesome. So it seems that you have a lot of things going on. Um,
Y-
yeah. So I guess with that, I just wanted to slide right into our topic, which is about Ramadan. So given all that's going on with your personal and professional life, what's a typical day for you during Ramadan?
Well, this is my first Ramadan here in Australia, so it's different. Um, but typical day is a little challenging, of course. Fasting in and not being able to eat or to drink anything throughout the day while you're working can really be tough. So we get up in the morning at about 4. We eat our feast, which is called sahur, and then we pray and that is we keep our fast, and then we go back to sleep and then get up early in the morning on a working day, which is very very tough, and then we go about normal routine. Then this needs some getting used to, and we come back and at about sunset time, which is the at the time of Maghrib prayers, when the sun is setting, we break our fast. Uh, so this is what a typical routine looks like.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So having knowing that, um, how do you balance working with fasting?
Well, this needs some getting used to, honestly. But you get after some time when you're fasting, because you have to be in that regime and practice, and you have to practice patience. This is what Ramadan is all about: to be patient, to have that physical and spiritual and mental cleansing. So this is all part of it. But once you get used to it and get into the routine of eating in the morning and breaking fast in the evening, you do get used to it. So this is how you go about it, and of course, it's a test of your patience and faith.
Mm, mm.
Not meant
Right,
to be.
right. So it's interesting that you mentioned the types of meals that you have during Ramadan. So you mentioned suhoor, which is when you wake up, and iftar, which is when you break the fast. I'm just curious, what types of foods do you prepare and do you eat during those two meals?
Yeah, it's we coming from Pakistan, we have a variety of dishes, and which are very cultural, Pakistan specific. We do a fruit salad, which is very typical in Pakistan community. Then there is something called pakoras, and there's a samosas. I'm not a food expert. I would have just describe you how they are made, but these are very typical dishes, and we make. Uh, then there is rice, and there are conventional dishes that go with it. So there's a lot of water that we drink, of course, and juices to get ourselves rehydrated. This is what a typical menu would look like, well, coming from Pakistan.
Awesome, that's awesome. I just wanted to share to our viewers, if you have any questions, you can just drop them in the chat box. So, and we're happy to answer them for you. Tabay is happy to answer them for you, despite him saying, he's not a foodie, but he's still experiencing Ramadan. So he knows a thing or two about the types of foods to eat. So if you have any questions, just drop them below. Um, that's awesome. I just wanted to sort of dive into more about topics about Ramadan and
Yeah.
um, about reasons why Muslims observe it. Um, to you, what does fasting signify in relation to sorry, no. What does fasting signify during Ramadan? What does it mean?
It is a no. Well, fasting is one of the five pillars of Islam and part of the faith. You have to believe in one God, do the pilgrimage, that is Hajj, do charity, which is zakat, pray 5 times, and then fast. And this pillar falls in the month of Ramadan. Uh, Similarly, when Hajj falls in the month of Hajj. So we have a Muslim calendar which runs parallel to the Gregorian calendar, and we follow the lunar movements for to determine the dates. So it's a lunar calendar, and fasting falls on the month of Ramadan, where we for 1 month the Muslims they practice fast, and that is not eating or drinking anything from sunrise to sunset. And that's not all. We also, this is an effort to stay away from lying and doing bad things. And this regime and this month gives us an opportunity to improve on ourselves and traits. So it is not just a physical test. It's a test of your patience, and it is a test of your character as well. So this is what fasting is generally about. And this also many when Ramadan is celebrated with uh, a huge number of people celebrate it. We are 1.5 billion in the world. We start with charity as well. A lot of people give away their charities in zakat in Ramadan as well. So it's very festive in Muslim countries. If you happen to visit there, there's a lot of nightlife, because the activity goes near the sahur times. There are get-togethers, there are festivities, people coming over, friends going out for iftar together and sahur. So it's quite festive. The whole month is very festive, and everybody celebrates it with their different cultures. Me coming from Pakistan, we have a very different culture to this. I've lived in UAE for some time, and I've seen that in the Middle East they celebrate it differently. But a common thing is that it's very, very festive.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That's really insightful that, Ramadan, there you mentioned these pillars. So it means that there's a lot more to it. Like the foundation of Ramadan, it's not just about fasting. There's so much more to it in terms of, sacrifice and celebration. Yeah, that's really interesting. Thanks for sharing that, Tabay. We have a
Sure.
question from YouTube. It's from Frank. He's asking, how much do you drink in the morning? So I think it's a good question to ask, because if you'll be fasting for 12 hours minimum during, well, it depends on how long you fast, right? some
Yes,
some
yes,
can fast for 12 hours, but some will fast up to 18 hours. So
yes,
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 it's
and that too in summers. Where last few years the Ramadan was in summers, not in Australia, in the rest of the world, because it's in Australia it's the other way around. And long hours of fast with the scorching heat, it can be very difficult. And yes, the answer to the question is that you often tend to drink a lot of water. I mean, you just fill yourself up in the morning because you get dehydrated. Because we getting now it's slowly moving towards winters, but we have Ramadan in summers mostly, and it can really get hot.
mm, so a
Because
lot
you see,
of
it is
water.
from, yes, it is from sunset to sunrise to sunset. So the duration of Ramadan is different in different countries. So an average fast would be 12 hours minimum, like you said. And yes, you have to drink a lot of water in the morning.
Awesome. So at least you're hydrated, right? And then you consume some sort of you consume something that's of so something substantial, right? During the suhoor. It could be like yogurt or something like juice.
Yes, yes. During Ramadan, it is quite a challenge to be on a health regime as well. You have to eat healthy. Because often I see people having an inverse effect. Fasting, they gain weight after fasting because they're not following a set routine or a diet plan. So yes, a lot of yogurt in the morning. It helps you with water retention, doesn't get you thirsty. Tea, coffee, to get you through if you're used to your own caffeine. Like I have to take I take tea, chai in the morning to get me through the day.
Awesome. Yeah, I love chai tea. Really good. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for that, Tabe. I have another question. It's we live in Australia. Australia is a multicultural community.
Yes,
Um, I believe Australians do have a sort of a surface understanding of what Ramadan is about. They know it's
yes,
about they know it's about fasting, right?
yes,
But they might not know many other things about it. So, for example, if I am an Australian, good
yes,
I might, yeah,
yeah.
and I ask you, what is Ramadan about? What do you say, Tabay?
Well, Ramadan is it's a good question there. Ramadan is a month. It's a holy month of um, it is often seen as a month of spirituality where you tend to cleanse yourself and you try to be near God, and you want to you go through this process and strengthen your faith in the process. uh, and on the practical side, because like I'm coming from Pakistan, so it's a Muslim country, and we have a culture of fasting, and the activities, the business activities and other activities tend to go slow during the period of fasting, and because most of the people are fasting, and you're in that culture. In Australia, of course, when we, I'm just if I share my experience with it, I'm still getting used to this. That when you go out there and there's not many people know about fasting, and you have to get into the routine, and it can be really challenging. You know, and yes, people are very curious about it, and if they read up, because fasting is a common practice among many religions. Fasting is not something which is new to people. You know about fasting in one way or the other. There is fasting in Christianity, there's fasting in Hinduism, I know. There is intermittent fasting. So fasting is a practice which is there, people are practicing it. But Ramadan is more on the spiritual side of things. It is spiritually powered with faith.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So it's a lot more it's a lot more layered than just fasting. There is that
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
it's underpinned on spirituality. It's underpinned on sacrifice and giving and
Patience,
forgiving, patience.
patience,
Yeah.
and it's a good community building, as well. When you're fasting, you're praying in the mosque, and you get to meet people, and then having these dinners and iftar get-togethers. So it helps build a strong community as well. And after this, because it's an obligation for, it's one of the pillars of Islam, and that's why it is mandatory for every practicing Muslim to fast, and you fast for 30 days, and on conclusion, there is an event which is called Eid, which everybody and celebrates, and it's the conclusion of Ramadan.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing, Tabay. We have another question from Yushu on Instagram.
Yeah,
He's asking, could you list three things that you must do during Ramadan? He's interested in this. So, yeah, what are those three things that you must do, Tabay, during Ramadan?
you must three things to do. It's a general question. It's a little generic. Three things that you must do is fast and be patient, and you must be giving back. You must be charitable. It is Ramadan is a month all about giving and sharing with others, and forgiving people, and during the day, if you contribute in someone's life, and give charity to the people who need. This is what Ramadan is about. When you are hungry throughout the day and when you're thirsty, you also get to know about the pain of people who don't get to eat much, around you, or even in the rest of the world. People who are living under poverty line, people who strive every day to eat and drink, and they don't get enough food or water. So you get to experience that as well. So so this is what you do, and you just give back as much as you can, and be charitable and be patient. I mean, these are the three things that I would say that I would do.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing that you said. Give back, be charitable, be patient. So that's sort of it sort of signifies that Ramadan is so much more than just than fasting. There's it's a
Oh, it
lot
is.
more. It's a
It
lot more
is.
holy. Yeah.
It is. It is holy. Yes. There are a lot of events that have taken place. Ramadan is the month where the Quran was completed. The holy book of Islam is Quran, and the Holy Quran was completed in the month of Ramadan. So it marks that. Then today is the martyrdom of the fourth caliph of Islam and the first Imam, Hazrat Ali. Today is the 21st of Ramadan, marks that. Then the last 10 days is they are very much intensifies the religious and the activity among the Muslim communities, because there are people who are sitting in itikaf, that's seclusion. They sit in the mosque for the last 10 days and they pray. And there are holy nights alternate to every alternate day in the last 10 days or so. So Ramadan is a very happening month. Even historically, it has a lot of significance for Muslims.
Mm, mm. Awesome. Thanks for that, Tabay. You've covered a
Yeah.
lot, a lot of topics
I'm
about
no expert. I'm just, I've just shared my experiences with it. I'm not.
yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
great. It's great. I think who better to tell us about their own personal experience about Ramadan than from a person who does
Absolutely.
experience.
And
Yeah.
and and I absolutely endorse and encourage this, that we
Yeah.
must share, because among people that now we are a multicultural society, and then when you must share, and open your routines and your ideas to people, and to integrate well, and we can build a good community here. I think that
Mm.
this is what your mission is all about as well, which I really appreciate.
Yes. Yes. For sure. No worries. Um, I think we've covered a lot in our short discussion, and thanks so much, Tabay, for sharing, your experiences. I just wanted, maybe if you can, before we wrap up, maybe you can tell us, what's your favorite part about Ramadan?
Ramadan is a month of, like I said, it's a lot of festivity, and it is a month where, for sure, you get to eat with your family, because throughout the year, every family member gets busy. When you're getting into practical life, and everybody has their own life. Your brothers and your sisters and your your parents. But Ramadan, the whole month of Ramadan, everybody is feasting together. So this is something that really appealed to me about Ramadan. And of course, the food that you eat, they're typical dishes that don't usually are there throughout the month, but then there's a whole preparation behind it in Ramadan. So this is the thing that I like.
Thanks, Tabay. We actually have a few more questions coming from our
Sure.
Facebook group. So
Sure.
thanks so much to all the people all of our viewers.
Sure.
We have a question from Facebook. Is Ramadan differently celebrated in Pakistan compared to Australia?
Yes, I think, like I said, every culture is different. So there's a Turkish culture with they have a different practice. In the Middle East, in Saudi, they have a different practice, which has been there for many centuries now. And Ramadan has a culture. The practice of Ramadan are often influenced by different cultures. So we have a different culture in Pakistan. And which is different from Middle East, and Middle East is different from the Turkish, and the Turkish is different from the Persian. In Malaysian they celebrate it differently. So everybody celebrated, according to their culture. The practice is the same, but the culture adds more color to it.
Yeah, so there are sort of regional differences in terms of how people celebrate it per country. So yeah, I think your situation that can sort of influence how you celebrate, how you observe Ramadan, but you still celebrate it regardless of where you are. If you are a Muslim, if you are committed by your faith, regardless of where you are, whether you're in Pakistan or Saudi Arabia or in Australia, you will find a way to still observe it. Yeah.
Yes, of course. It is a pillar of Islam, one of the pillars of Islam and faith, and it is mandatory for all Muslims. So you can't skip fast. There are you get some exceptions. If you're not well, and the women they get the exceptions, but you have to make up for it after Ramadan. So it's mandatory to have fast at least 30 days in a year.
We have another question here, Tabay.
Sure. Getting good question.
Somebody's asking, what is the meaning of giving and forgiving in the context of Ramadan?
Ramadan is known to be a month of charities, and a month for ask for forgiveness of your sins, and this that you pray and you ask for forgiveness from your God, and in return you forgive other people as well, and it's more about togetherness. And it is also a month of a charity, and people give millions in charity during Ramadan, and you'll see a lot of campaign actually asking for charity in the month of Ramadan. It just increases because people tend to. So it is a month of sharing and charities. So this is what forgiving and giving would mean to me.
It's interesting. Yeah. So there's again that underlying element of charity that comes with Ramadan. So thanks, Tabay, for clearing that for that question. We have another question
Sure.
from Facebook. Thank you guys for dropping your questions. They're asking, what could be the challenges to experience Ramadan in a non-Muslim country? What do you think?
It is because I'm coming from a culture which from a Muslim culture, so everybody knows the practice of Ramadan. So in a Western country, one challenge is to explain it, because you during your fast, people, of course, they tend to ask a lot of questions, and going about a normal routine. Because in Pakistan, the days they are shortened, the official working hours they're reduced, and they are more you get more time off work uh, during Ramadan in Pakistan. But in the Western side, when it's a non-Muslim uh, you know country, so you it's very hard to go about going about normal working hours, let's say 9 to 5, without any water and food, and going through different weather conditions. It can be tough. So this one big difference, a big challenge.
Mm. Thanks so much, Tabay.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot of ground on just explaining about Ramadan, what it's about, what are the experiences of a person, what are the a personal account of somebody experiencing Ramadan, a migrant here in Australia. You've certainly enlightened us about the journey. I
I'm
myself,
glad.
I am not a member of the Muslim community, but it's really interesting, what our brothers and sisters go through, their experience during Ramadan. To me, it's really fascinating just to hear, how people celebrate something that's very important to them. And
I'm really glad to hear that, and
yeah,
I'm really happy to see this initiative, and I encourage other people to be a part of this, and come up and be. There is a need to share your experiences and practices, and answer questions for other people. Only then you can broaden and be members of the same community. We you know in order to have a one large community blended in, you need to open up with other people and answer questions, and it's really good. I'm really happy to answer all the questions here today.
yeah. You're welcome, Tabay. And we also want to thank everybody who have dropped their questions. Again, we want to say thanks to our guest, Tabay Hamdani, who's originally from Pakistan but living here in Melbourne, Australia.
Yes,
So yeah, I think that about wraps up our first home visits. Thank you, Tabay, for
pleasure to
welcoming
be here.
us. Yeah, thank you for welcoming us into your home.
No, thank you for having
Yeah,
me. Thank you for
yeah,
having me, and you're always welcome.
yes. Thanks, Tabay. And we will have more of our virtual home visits. So for from today until the 12th of May, which is the end of Ramadan, we will have multiple home visits. We will be visiting the homes of multiple um, people from different Muslim communities living in Australia, and we'll have this conversation. And it's been a great first conversation so far. So we want to say thank you again, Tabay, and we'll see everyone next time. See
All
you.
right. Thank you. Thank you.
See you,
See ya.
Tabay.
Thank you. Thank you. See you.